You've been lied to. Everywhere you look, they tell you life should be easy, that you should avoid struggle, chase comfort, do whatever feels good. But let me tell you something. Seeking pleasure makes you weak. You ever wonder why so many people today feel lost, unmotivated, stuck? It's because they've been conditioned to chase pleasure instead of purpose. Look at history. The strongest men, the ones who shaped the world, weren't chasing comfort. They embraced hardship. Spartans didn't sleep in soft beds or take warm baths. They bathed in freezing water, ate the bare minimum, trained until their bodies were broken, and built themselves into warriors. Meanwhile, look at society today. Most guys can't even handle skipping breakfast without getting cranky. You think that's a coincidence? Strength comes from struggle. Weakness comes from avoiding it. Your brain is wired to seek the easy route. It wants dopamine, that quick rush of pleasure, and it doesn't care how you get it. That's why it craves fast food, short-form content, porn, and binge-watching TV shows. It's not your fault. Your brain is designed to reward you for survival. But here's the problem. Modern life hijacks this system. You get dopamine without effort, and that's dangerous. Because the easier you get it, the weaker you become. The first time you eat junk food, it tastes amazing. The first time you fap, it feels awesome. But after a while, you need more just to feel the same level of enjoyment. Your brain adapts. Suddenly, nothing excites you anymore. The things that used to feel rewarding, working hard, building something, learning, start to seem boring in comparison. You feel stuck, but you don't know why. This is why pleasure kills your motivation. You ever wonder why you can't focus? Why you don't feel that same fire inside you? It's because your brain has been numbed by cheap dopamine. Social media gives you fake validation without real human connection. Video games give you fake achievements without real effort. Junk food gives you fake nourishment without real health benefits. Porn gives you fake intimacy without real relationships. And the worst part? The more you indulge, the harder it is to stop. You think you're just relaxing, but really you're training your mind to be weak. You need to break out of this. And the way to do it? Stop chasing pleasure. Stop looking for the easy way. Train yourself to embrace discomfort instead. When you feel that urge to take the easy path, whether it's skipping the gym, reaching for your phone and wasting time on mindless entertainment, do the opposite. Take the cold shower. Push yourself in the gym. Read a book instead of scrolling. Challenge yourself daily. The Spartans didn't bathe in cold water because they had no choice. They did it because they knew that discomfort builds strength. You have to rewire your brain. Start by cutting out the addictions, even temporarily. Try a dopamine detox, 24 to 48 hours with no phone, no social media, no junk food, no mindless entertainment. At first, it'll feel unbearable. Your brain will crave stimulation. But that discomfort? That's the withdrawal from the easy dopamine you've been feeding it. And once you push through it, you'll start to feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Clarity. From there, start embracing discomfort daily. Take cold showers. Not because they're fun, but because you hate them, that's the point. Skip a meal once in a while. Force your body to function without constant food rewards. Train hard, lift heavy, run fast, push past the point where you want to quit. Do something uncomfortable every single day until you start craving it instead. And most importantly, find something worth struggling for. If you don't have a purpose, of course you're going to waste time chasing temporary pleasure. What are you building? What are you working toward? Without a real goal, you're just drifting, chasing quick highs that leave you empty. The moment you commit to something bigger than yourself, the need for cheap dopamine starts to fade. This is how you escape the pleasure trap. This is how you take control of your life. And the choice is yours. You can keep numbing yourself, keep chasing momentary relief, keep wondering why you feel lost. Or you can step up, embrace discomfort, and start building real strength. Most people will stay stuck, but you don't have to. The world is soft now, weak. Most people avoid even the smallest inconvenience. They take the elevator instead of the stairs, order food instead of cooking, spend hours glued to screens instead of building real skills, and then they wonder why they feel so empty. It's because they've trained themselves to avoid the very thing that would make them strong: discomfort. Discomfort is the price of strength. Always has been. Look at warriors, athletes, leaders. None of them got there by chasing what felt good. They got there by doing what was hard, what sucked, what most people avoided. That's why most people never achieve greatness. Not because they're incapable, but because they're unwilling to suffer for it. They'd rather be comfortable than be unstoppable. That's what the Spartans understood. They bathed in cold water, walked barefoot in the heat, trained with minimal food, not because they had to, but because they knew comfort breeds weakness and suffering breeds strength. Every hardship made them sharper, harder, more resilient. And when battle came, they were ready, because they have lived in discomfort every single day. Modern life, it's the opposite. Everything is instant. You don't have to earn pleasure anymore. You don't have to hunt for your food, push your body to exhaustion, fight for survival. Everything is easy. And at first, that sounds great, until you realize that struggle was what made men strong in the first place. Without it, we get weaker, softer, slower. Here's what's really happening when you chase easy pleasure. It's all about dopamine, the neurotransmitter that drives motivation, reward, and addiction. Every time you do something pleasurable, eat junk food, scroll social media, watch porn, play video games, your brain releases dopamine. This is what makes it feel good, and that's not a bad thing on its own. Dopamine is what pushes you to pursue goals, achieve success, and grow. The problem is that modern life hacks your brain into overproducing dopamine for things that require zero effort. Think about it. Your ancestors had to hunt for food, they had to earn their pleasure. Their dopamine was tied to real achievement, killing an animal, building a shelter, winning a fight. But now, you get that same dopamine instantly, from scrolling TikTok, eating sugar, or watching Netflix. No effort, no struggle, just instant gratification. And here's the real danger. The more easy dopamine you get, the less motivation you have to do hard things. Your brain adapts. It starts expecting pleasure without effort. Your baseline dopamine level drops, and suddenly, real-life activities, working out, reading, building a skill, feel boring compared to the high of instant pleasure. You don't feel motivated to do anything difficult anymore. Your brain has been hijacked. That's why you can spend hours on your phone but can't sit down to read for 10 minutes. It's why watching one more YouTube video feels easy, but getting out of bed at 5 a.m. feels impossible. Your brain has been trained to chase easy pleasure and avoid hard effort. This is how men become weak. Not all at once, but little by little. Every time they choose what's easy over what's necessary, they become weaker. But here's the good news: you can fix this. You can rewire your brain to crave hard things again. It starts with voluntary discomfort, choosing struggle instead of avoiding it. Because just like easy pleasure rewires your brain for weakness, hardship rewires it for strength. Take cold showers. Not just because they suck, but because they force your brain to override comfort. Studies show that cold exposure boosts dopamine by 250%. But unlike junk dopamine, this isn't a quick spike followed by a crash. It's a sustained increase that makes you more motivated, more focused, and more disciplined. Work out every day. Physical stress releases endorphins, lowers stress hormones, and actually makes your brain more resistant to pain and fatigue. You stop seeing effort as suffering and start seeing it as fuel. Do hard mental tasks, reading, writing, deep work. These things force your brain to rebuild its focus. The more you do them, the more your brain adapts. You start craving progress instead of distractions. And the most important part? Delay pleasure. Make yourself earn it. Dopamine isn't the enemy. It's how you use it that matters. If you train your brain to only get dopamine from hard-earned victories, suddenly, real life becomes more rewarding than cheap distractions. After a while, you start to change. What once felt impossible now feels normal. What once seemed unbearable now makes you stronger. You stop craving cheap dopamine and start craving progress. You stop looking for distractions and start looking for challenges. That's when you know you're on the right path. Most people will never get there. They'll stay weak, chasing pleasure, wondering why they feel empty. But you don't have to be one of them. You can rise above. You can take control. The only question is, will you?